right, so the main thing that you have to worry about on the outside of the camper is this right here. This is your whole water system. All right, so it's got one inlet here and one inlet down here. So what this main inlet here does is, as you can see right now, we got it in the bucket of antifreeze just to pump it through there and make sure all the lines are good and everything. But if you're going to be at a camp for a while that has running water through a hose readily available, you can actually hook the hose up here and you can turn it to the city position. What that's going to do is actually allow the water from the water hose to go into your lines, pressure them up without using the pump or the tank or anything like that. But you also got two other things here. It says tank and normal. So if you want to fill your tank, you still hook your water hose up here, but when you turn it on, you want to put it to tank, and that just opens the valve and allows it to flow down into the tank and fill it up. But once you get it full and everything, and you turn your water hose off and you take it off because you're going to take it somewhere full or what have you, you want to turn it back to normal. This little valve here will turn, and it turns to normal, and all that does is closes the valve to where that even though you're full and you got your pump on and stuff, that this valve doesn't allow water to come back out this way. So it just puts it on normal and allows you to use it how it's supposed to be used. But for winterizing, it also has a winterize setting, which is what it's on now, and all you have to do is stick the hose in the bucket and you turn your pump on and pump it through everything and make sure it's all pink, and then you should be good for winter. Down here we have an inlet. It says right here, caution, sewer tank flush and all that good stuff. What that is once you're done camping and you're going to dump your tanks and you dump it all out but it's still reading like a third or something like that, you could actually hook a water hose up to that, and when you turn the water on, it'll jet water down into the black tank to break up any solid waste, get any toilet paper, anything that's stuck on sensors. It just helps clean out your tanks and everything, so you have longer life on them and everything. Then up here you got satellite. So if you do have an external satellite for a tailgater package, or if you're at a park that has cable, you could actually hook it up here, and then it runs to the coaxes that are actually behind the TV in the camper. Same goes for these, but these are just designated spots. One's for the front of the camper, one's for the rear of the camper. There's also a light for out here, so if you're doing all this in the dark, you're good. And there's actually 110 plugs that are GFI protected, so if you do get these wet, it will trip a GFI, but there's only one GFI in the whole camper, and that's in the bathroom, and I'll show you that when we get there. But it is protected, so you don't have to worry about shorting anything out or anything like that. Inside here, it actually has an outside shower. There is a quick connect hose that comes with it that you stick in there, and you could actually wash your hose off, your hands off, whatever you have to do, so you don't bring it into the camper with you. And then over here we have your water heater. So it is unplugged and drained and everything, but just to fill it up, all you have to do is put that plug in, and there's one valve on the back side of it, and this panel is actually down. Let me show you this real quick. There's a false panel right here, and you can actually take this down, and right back in this cubby space here, there's one valve that will allow water to flow into the water heater, or if you're winterizing, you can turn it off and allow it to not go into the water heater. But the boards out here, it is a 10-gallon tank, which is bigger than most. Most only come with a 6, but this is a 10 because it's, a bigger camper. It's auto ignite, no pilots, nothing like that. There's switches inside, and I'll show you how to light that here in a little bit. And here, you shouldn't have to mess with this any, but this is where your furnace is, and if you ever have to replace it or work on it or anything like that, they actually put this cover on it to where you can take this whole cover off, and it's all readily available right there to where you can work on it. And you'll see these covers here, and you just unlock them, open them up, and in there's actually handles, and they are labeled for what is what. Those are for your sewer tanks. So wastewater holding is going to be your black tank, which is your toilet waste and all that. Gray tank is just sink and shower, but this is number 1. There's also a gray tank number 2, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Number 1 is going to be your sink and shower out of the bathroom. Number 2 is going to be your galley, which is the kitchen sink and washer and dryer, if you have that as well, will empty into that second gray tank. And here you have your power source where you can plug in. It is a 50 ampere. This is just an adapter that we use because it's out here on a lot, but it does have a full 20-foot 50 amp cord that comes with it. Come back this way. And we've got another one of those for the handles here. It's only for the gray tank, but they still do that. You have storage in here where you can store your sewer hose and all that. And then right here, it has this little cubby that you can open up, and it has these locks where you can leave it open. What this is, it's all bagged up right now because it gets a lot of dirt around here because it's open and all that. But this is your fuel dispensing system. So you have one fuel tank that I believe it's like a 10 or 15 gallon that the generator runs off of, but you could actually use this to pump gas and fuel into your toys, such as your side-by-sides or four-wheelers or Harleys or whatever you have. So it is a dispensing system, so you don't have to lug around red cans in your cargo area so that you don't have all those vapors and everything like that. It does have a ladder to get on the roof. All that's easily accessible. It is a walkable roof because it has a ladder. It can support weight up to 300, 400 pounds. So the back gate has just got these manual locks. You just flip them up, pop this open, turn it, and you come over here, lift that up, pop this one, turn it, it'll come down. It's not assisted or anything, so it is pretty heavy. I'll just bring it down enough to show you. And you just slide it back up, and then you bring these just like an 18-wheeler trailer, lock it up, lock this side up, and then you're good to go. We can come on this side here. They've got two separate awnings. They have two separate buttons inside, and I'll show you that. This right here would be the fridge vent. Should never have to mess with this. All this really is when you're running your refrigerator, what it's doing is you have a heater that heats the Freon in the back and causes that to circulate and then cools and then comes back down and just starts the process over. But all that heat and stuff, if it's cold outside, it could cause condensation, but that's why they put this in here, just so it can breathe and help get some of that hot air out so it doesn't warp anything in there. And here you got outside speakers, which are connected to the radio inside, and you can designate where they go, where the sound goes, inside or outside. Under here you got plenty of storage. If you look over here, this yellow Eureka thing is actually your filter canister for your central vacuum. It does have a central vacuum with a step sweep that I can show you inside. Then it also has plugs like this around it to where you can plug your hose and vacuum whatever, what have you. And then here we have your leveling system. So you just would turn it on, you get auto level, and it will automatically level to where it needs to be. You can also use it to adjust if you don't like where it's at or what have you, and you can abort it if you don't want to do it all the way. But that's the leveling system. It's all tied into all 6 jacks around it. Takes a lot of the headache out of having to level it yourself and then stabilize it and everything. Does it all for you just from this touch panel. Let's see, we got your propane tanks, one right here, one on the other side, and in here there's actually a regulator with a switch on it. So with this switch going this way, it's going to the other bottle. With the switch going this way to this hose, it's going to this bottle. You can't just put it in the middle and let it pull off both. You actually have to put it on one tank or the other, and one runs out, you have to go to the other tank, and then when they're both out, you have to fill them. These do have locks on them and everything, so you keep them closed up. Down here in the bottom is the generator and the battery area. Once we send it to you, obviously it'll have 2 batteries in it, be set up on a 12-volt system. The generator, very low hours. I'm not quite sure what they have, but I know it's low hours. And it is automatic start. It just has a button here or inside, and I'll show you that once we get in there. And then you have a button here for just the front jack. So if you just, you're not leveled out or anything like that, and you just want to bring it up or put it down to get it on or off the truck, you just hold this up or down and get it where you want it before you hook onto it. And we can take it inside now.